Dr. Izzy Justice here. Welcome to the podcast Chasing 10 Hertz. What is 10 Hertz? 10 Hertz is a frequency in the brain. The brain has electricity. We can measure it in a very similar way that you can see on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube. You're looking at a live EEG reading of my brain. We have asked people, as many other scientists have, when you are performing at your best, when you're in that zone state, in that flow state, in that high-performing state, what is it that you're thinking, feeling, doing? The answers, irrespective of any human endeavor, seem to be the same. I was calm. I was focused. Things felt slow. I was at peace. I was relaxed. I was confident. We have found a correlation between these attributes of when we are performing at our best, the best version of ourselves, and the frequency 10 Hertz. In this podcast, we are going to explore videos of people who have done amazing things and look for those attributes, as well as have guests, average people, ordinary people, amazing people, and explore this concept of chasing 10 Hertz. Hi, everybody. Dr. Izzy Justice over here. Welcome to episode number 5. Today, I want to talk about one of my all-time favorite neurohacks, the power of thank you. Those two little words. Thank you is a phrase that you can say anywhere in the world in hundreds of different languages. You can say it in any situation, at home, at work, essentially in any environment that you are with other people. The term thank you is available to you. You don't need to buy anything to say thank you. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need any equipment, nothing. Thank you is a term that's available to you to use. I would argue, I'm going to make some claims in this podcast that is both a benefit to you and to others as well. My YouTube guest today is Dr. Tanya Singer. She's a neuroscientist. And this particular YouTube clip is actually, it's available on YouTube. It's 20 minutes long, but I'm only going to show you a 2-minute long clip of it. And that's the results section of a longitudinal study that her and her team did at the World Economic Forum. The premise or the context of this study was, how can you enhance global cooperation? How can people get along better so that we can cooperate? Now, even though the context of this is compassion and the study is specifically to compassion, I will draw the correlation between compassion and the term that I want you to consider, this neurohack that I'm calling thank you. And even though the context is global cooperation, we need to cooperate on a daily basis with people in our family, with people that we work with, our teammates on an athletic field, basically any environment that we have, that we share the stage or the environment or the experience with other people. So let's go and let's see if we can get this video going, and I'll let you take a listen to it.
Question, this was behavior. Now we are brain scientists too. So we wanted to know, can you change the hardware of your brain? We always thought that we can't change anymore, that our brains are just declining and getting worse after age 25. So this is really showing whether you can increase in cortical thickness. This means in gray matter volume of your brain through training. And what I show you again is after 6 months of affect in one group or perspective in the other group. And you see this is real cortical thickness. So this is increase in your hardware of your brain after training, which happens in the network I showed you before, which is the emotional empathy compassion network after compassion training, and happens in the theory of mind network after theory of mind training. So you see again that the training increases cortical thickness in networks which are processing the specific mental content you are training. After compassion training, you get better in limbic networks, you get bigger limbic networks. After theory of mind training, you improve the networks necessary to make this shift into the minds of others. Why are we so interested in all this? It's because we want to actually improve global cooperation. We want.
Okay, so what you just heard over there was a segment of the results, and I'll summarize them again. Essentially, what she's claiming, what her study has shown, is that training in compassion, being kind to other people, leads to an improvement in someone's own gray matter. So this is our sort of hardware to do everything that we do in our life much, much better, much, much easier. So I want to claim that saying the term thank you is a part or a component of this big family of this term called compassion. Typically, when we think of acts of compassion, we are talking about maybe making a financial donation somewhere, or maybe donating your time, going somewhere to help someone build a home or do yard work or a cleanup project somewhere. Those are all wonderful acts of compassion. They are, however, not acts of compassion that you can do on a daily basis in the moment wherever you are. So I want to make the connection that thank you is an act of compassion, and acts of compassion, generally speaking, increase your own gray matter. So, why do I think that the term thank you is such a powerful, powerful, powerful neurohack? So, let's go through the power of thank you. And these are claims that I have studied, having done almost 16,000 EEG readings of people and have them describe acts of compassion that they have done. So, the first thing is, if you genuinely say the term thank you have to say thank you by making an observation. Don't just say thank you for no reason. You have to see somebody doing something which warrants your saying thank you. That search, that just happened. He did this, she did this. That search is an activation of your sensory cortex, and it's forcing you to be in the present moment because you're looking for something to say thank you for. So it engages your sensory cortex, which basically is the same thing as being in the present moment. The search to say thank you to somebody for something inherently suspends your brain's desire to either want to live in the past or process the future, which, as we all know, creates all kinds of anxiety and chaos in that. So, the first power of the term thank you is it enhances your own sensory cortex by forcing you to observe human behavior that warrants your saying thank you for. The second benefit of saying thank you from a neuroscience perspective is what you just heard from Dr. Singer, which is, oh my goodness, it actually increases your own gray matter. By doing something good for other people, we think, oh my gosh, the benefit of that is the person that you're doing it for. It turns out that we are actually building your own gray matter. The third benefit of saying the term thank you is the person receiving the thank you. This is obvious. Who doesn't like to be shown appreciation for something that they have done, no matter how big or small? And in many cases, we all do small things that typically don't get any attention. It's only the big things that we do, and yet the small things are typically the foundation of doing those big things. So the person receiving it, their brain waves go down, their stress levels go down because suddenly somebody has said thank you for. The fourth benefit of the term thank you is typically when you say thank you to someone, their response, verbal and nonverbal, is usually very positive. They either smile, they nod their head, and they're grateful. They're grateful that you said that you showed them your attention, and typically they will say something back nice to you. A few episodes ago, I talked about, in my view, the most important leadership attribute from a neuroscience perspective, and that is for leaders to work really hard to remove fear. Fear increases your cortisol levels. It basically reduces your brain functionality to a very low level. So if you can imagine, being fearless on one spectrum and being fearful on the other spectrum, what do you think the term does to somebody on that spectrum? Do you think it moves them towards being afraid of you, or do you think it moves them towards not being afraid of you or the task at hand? So there's a benefit to the person in terms of their ability to execute the next task at hand. The other value of the term benefit is if you think about the enormous amount of stimuli that our brains are processing in one day. We have meetings that we have to go to, we have assignments that we have to do, homework, take a quiz if you're a kid in school, a project to finish, people that you have to work with on a Zoom call in a conference room, a stage that you have to perform, athletic stage. But our brain is processing all kinds of stimuli, and mostly it's the spikes, it's the negativity that's going to draw a lot of attention. So saying thank yous is a way to dilute the overall cumulative impact of all of the negative stimuli that we all face. Clearly, as I said earlier, that if we can enhance the gray matter, if you can enhance in the moment, bringing the quantity and the intensity of the brain waves down, well, now you're increasing your brain power to do all kinds of stuff. Your athletic performance. If you're an athlete and you say thank you and you get all of the benefits of it, suddenly your sensory cortex is high. That means you'll see where you want to send the ball. You'll see the target. You'll see your teammate moving. You'll be aware of someone playing defense on you because your sensory cortex is just enhanced. But from a performance perspective in the work environment, the ideas that come to your head suddenly are more because you've enhanced your sensory cortex. You've shut down to a small degree your past memories and narratives, as well as the future thoughts, if you would. And then finally, what I want to argue is that it enhances your sensory input in all of life. So saying thank you, let's just take the example of going to a restaurant to have a meal. The amount of opportunities in a restaurant that you can say thank you to are enormous. As soon as you sit down, your server comes to you and says, "Can I get you something to drink?" And he or she will come back with your drinks. Thank you. They take your order. Thank you. They bring the food to you. Thank you. They refill your fluids that you're drinking. Thank you. They give you your check. Thank you. So many opportunities that in the process of looking at that server and saying thank you, you're increasing your sensory input. Now you're enjoying the meal more because your sensory input is where your taste buds are, where your other senses live. Now you're paying more attention to the people around you and you're just being more and more present. I want to draw, as I wrap up, this juxtaposition between gratitude and thank you. I think gratitude and thank you are parts of the same family. They're brothers and sisters, essentially, but they're not the same. Gratitude might be gratitude for many things that are going on in your life, not so much in the present moment. You might be grateful that you have a beautiful home that you live in, or a car, or a job. These are wonderful things to do. And I encourage people to continue to show gratitude and have gratitude for everything that they have in their life. Thank you is not that form of a gratitude. Thank you is in the present moment. You are using the present moment. You're observing the present moment to say thank you to somebody for something. So it's a very different thing. And I want to argue that thank you is a much more effective in terms of bringing the noise in your brain down to enhancing your sensory input so that you can enjoy being the amazing human being that you are and all the natural gifts that your brain can give you simply if you're in the present moment. So let me wrap up by saying thank you. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I want to encourage all of you to make a goal. Every day, say 10 thank yous. Just 10 thank yous. That's a goal. Saying 10 thank yous per day will for sure change the state of your brain. A concept called neuroplasticity. It'll evolve how your brain is processing stimuli. 10 thank yous a day, that's all it takes. I even want to encourage you that on days that are very stressful, you have a lot going on, it's a big game time event, say more thank yous. It's a very counterintuitive way, but the more thank yous that you say, because it's free, it's simple, any language, anywhere, you don't need any equipment, the better your state of brain. Thank you again.